Walt Weiss, we talked about it. Walt Weiss says he's prepared to come back. He wants to come back. He's got another year on his 3. And you defended him. You said that he deserved to come back. Is it fair?
Weiss has duty as skipper of sinking ship.
Right. Weiss wants to come back, but the question to me was, will he get the chance to come back?
Oh, don't you think he will? They're not going to make a move. Dick thought this was the greatest
If Jeff
move he's
Bridich
made.
finally convinced Dick Monfort to get rid of Troy Tulowitzki,
good point.
then wouldn't it be a lot harder for the general managers to go to Dick Monfort and say, we need to get rid of that Tulo guy.
You're making an assumption here that the relationship between Bridich and Weiss has soured. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you lose 95 games again this year,
After 96 last year.
you eventually have to tell the peeps, even the peeps that want to just come out and enjoy the sun or the party deck or whatever, that we're trying to do something. And sooner or later, at 3 years of losing nearly 60% of your games,
Well, 2 years.
See, I'm a bigger defender than Woody
okay,
is.
I mean, he's lost 88 the first year. He lost, 96 last year?
Right.
And he loses 95 this year.
Maybe 100.
And I said, are you confident, Walt, that regardless of how this season ends, that you're going to be back next year? And he goes, no, I can't tell you that because I don't know that.
Nature of the game.
And nobody's told me that. And in this game, no matter what your expectations are, no matter what the situation is, that you have to win games. And he knows that he's not winning games. And
Yeah. And do you not put, let me make a statement. The two of you respond. This is what I told him. Walt Weiss hadn't done a good job. And talking about, I got him playing hard. I watch his situational managing. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't think he knows anything about pitching staff. He still hasn't learned anything about pitching staff. And I suggested to him yesterday, Bud Black, that the one thing they haven't done with a manager is to bring in a manager who's a pitcher.
Who's a pitcher first.
There aren't a ton
like
of them, by the way. There are not a lot of pitchers who turn into managers.
No, there's a whole lot more catchers that
Right.
turn into managers than pitchers do. But you bring up a very good point in that whether it's a catcher that always handled a pitching staff,
They haven't ever had a catcher either.
or a pitcher who thinks like a pitcher does, they haven't done that. Basically, what they've had is the gritty, grinded out position player.
Wait. Didn't Jim Leland bring in Milt May, a former catcher, to be the pitching coach one year?
Maybe.
I think he did.
That
just popped into my mind.
I don't remember
Sorry.
Leland being here other than putting whoever's showed up that day in third.
But there's no reason for me to believe that. Name any of them: Don Baylor, Buddy Bell, Clint Hurdle, Walt Weiss. They don't think like a pitcher. I mean, and they don't. I'm not sure any of them had that. They all have their strengths as managers, but handling a pitching staff, I wouldn't put at the top of the list for any of them.
Yeah. But Bud Black's well respected. He's well liked. We liked him when he came here. He didn't do much with the Padres. They had lousy talent. He got fired there. But the one thing the Rockies haven't tried, they've tried pitch counts, piggybacks, they've tried everything in the whole world. They haven't tried to put in charge a pitcher. And Bud Black is one of the few that, or they haven't tried a catcher. They wanted Joe Girardi, I think.
Clint
he didn't want to
Clint
come
Hurdle
back.
was a catcher.
Clint Hurdle was a first baseman. He wasn't a catcher. He's left-handed. Yeah. Help me out here. I don't know. He
started out as a catcher.
Left-handed catcher?
He was a right-handed catcher. Did he hit left-handed?
I thought he hit left-handed and was left-handed.
You stumped me. But he was a guy that sat in a dugout and bounced the ball off the concrete. That's not a guy that's a grinder, not a guy that handles.
Jim Tracy was
a
a shortstop, a left fielder kind of guy.
Okay, so the question I want to know is, regardless of what you think Dick Monfort will do, should Walt Weiss be fired?
Sure. Yeah. I think he's not a very. I don't think he's a very good situational manager. I don't think he's squeezed as much out of these players. And if I walk past an old newspaper every day to Around the Horn, and it's got a headline from Mark Kiszla at the top of it. Nobody's picked up and thrown that paper in the garbage. And he says, blundering Rockies, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah,
that day
earlier this
your
season.
column got put right across the top of the page one.
They've run into a lot of outs.
That they don't look like a well-managed team.
That's correct. I would agree with that.
Unless his point is, do you blame the players? No, you got to blame the coaching staff. You got to blame.
You can't get
Walt
blood out of a
Weiss.
turnip, Woody. I mean, he's been handed a lot of turnips.
But
this roster is just not a very good roster.
Give me a break,
I mean,
though, Les. That a manager's not in charge of the fact that you're in a game and it's 6-4, and you take the out at first base. I don't want to see in Coors Field wasting outs. Outs. You do not bunt people over in Coors Field. You don't play for one-run games.
I think it depends on the situation.
You
You
play
don't
for four-run
come in.
innings.
Don't do it early
One
in
of
the
his
game.
big moves last night was, let's sneak in. We'll play back on third base, and then we're going to sneak in. Really? How impressive is that? You think a hitter's going to go, oh, they just moved in? No, that's not even over managing. That is just being silly managing. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, see, it finally moved from that spot. Blake Street blunders keep coming. Is that totally on the players when it's over and over and over?
It's on the
again?
players first, but it's also on the manager. And so your criticism is well taken. Is that if you're a first place team and you make mental mistakes, those are forgiven. If you're a last place team and you make mental mistakes, that's on the manager. And if he got fired, it wouldn't surprise me, other than the fact that the Monforts are loath to do anything
But
quickly.
you seem to be defending him. You must
I
like
am
him as a
defending
manager.
him. And here's why I'm defending him, and I feel sorry for him in this regard.
Well, I feel sorry for him. He's going to draw his money
because
next year.
Bill Guyvet is gone, but I still think that the front office is dictating much of what he does, whether it's how many pitches John Gray can throw in any one game, to trot William Rosario out there at first base earlier this year when he obviously can't play first base either. And that makes a manager look bad.
This segment brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports. It's your source for the original motorcycle, Indian motorcycles. So check out the newest line of Indian motorcycles at Grand Prix Motorsports. They're located on County Line and Santa Fe. And that is Scott on his Indian motorcycle.